Hello and welcome back to Part 3, Tape number 3 of Autoimmune Urine Therapy. We will discuss over 100 ways, testimonial ways, to use your pharmacy on this tape. The claim that autoimmune therapy is a fail-proof remedy for each and every disorder that afflicts mankind would both be extravagant and misleading. Actually, there is no therapy, no medicine that can cure all disorders. Even the medicine that has been proven to be efficacious for a particular disease does not prove equally beneficial to all patients suffering from that disease. Moreover, even in the case of a patient subject to reoccurring attacks of the same disease, no drug proves equally efficient and effective every time. It is claimed that urine therapy is an infallible remedy for each and every disorder. Such a claim merely exposes the lack of scientific viewpoint. Perhaps this is the reason why people tend to mistrust or lack confidence in urine therapy. However, it must be understood that it is impossible to do scientific blind studies on urine therapy based on that this therapy is totally personal to each individual. And it shows us how ultimately natural it is for each and every one of us. Therefore, the following has been taken from testimonials and is given to you as information only from research of hundreds of personal and hospital testimonials taken by allopathics, homeopathics, Ayurvedics, and blood chemist doctors throughout the world. I suggest that you check with your allopathic physician before engaging in this past-proven method. You will now be in control with God-given life of these gifts. These are the testimonial proven urine therapy of curable and incurable diseases. Here you will understand how many different kinds of problems, of health difficulties, of disease that urine therapy reverses. The immediate reversing or relief is of acne, aging, alcoholism, allergies, angina, appendicitis, arteriosclerosis, arthritis, asthma, astigmatism, backache, bites, bladder problems, blisters, blood pressure, lower high, boils, bowel movement, brain cancer, breast tumors, Bright's disease, bronchitis, bulimia, burns, candidiasis, cataracts, colds, colitis, cholesterol, conjunctivitis, constipation, cosmetic allergies, cough, cysts, dandruff, deafness, depression, dermatitis, diabetes, diarrhea, digestive problems, diphtheria, dizziness, Down syndrome, drug addiction, dysentery, dropsy, duodenal ulcers, ear problems, ischemia, eye vision problems, low energy, epilepsy, unstable heartbeat, eye problems, fatigue, fever, flu, fungus infection, gallbladder problems, gangrene, gastritis, gastric ulcer, glaucoma, gonorrhea, gout, gum disorders, hemorrhoids, hair loss, insomnia, dry hair, dull hair, hay fever, headache, heart conditions, hepatitis, herpes, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, weakened immunity, infection, insect bites, intestinal problems, itching, jaundice, pain in the joints, Kaposi sarcoma, kidney problems, kidney stones, laryngitis, leprosy, leukemia, leukoderma, liver infection, lung embolism, lymph gland disorders, lupus, malaria, ME, measles, metastasis, meningitis, menopause, menstruation problems, migraine, mitral valve problems, myopia, mononucleosis, moods, morning sickness, muscle pain, neuritis, muscular dystrophy, necrosis, nervous dermatitis, neurodermatitis, nose blocked, obesity, osteoporosis, ovarian tumors, pancreatic tumors, periodontosis, Parkinson's, paralysis, parasites, peptic ulcers, piles, pimples, pyorrhea, plaque, pneumonia, plague, polio, possession, prostate disorders, prostate tumors, psoriasis, rash, retinal hemorrhage, rheumatism, salmonella, scars, sciatica, scurvy, sexual potency that has been decreased, shock, sickle cell anemia, sinusitis, skin disorders, smallpox, smoking addiction, snake bite, spasms, stomach problems, stomach ulcers, stress, sunburn, sweaty feet, swellings, syphilis, T-cell count, tinnitus, sore throat, tongue disorder, toothaches, trembling tuberculosis, typhoid, ulcers, urinating problems, vaginal problems, varicose veins, venereal diseases, vertigo, warts, worms, and wounds. Let's talk on each individual one that we have found people that if they have done their urine therapy a certain way, they have found that it has had a reversing effect on their problems. Again, I am saying this to you that you should be in conjunction with your allopathic doctors, and this I'm telling you is what I would do to myself, and many of these things I have done for myself. And I am not telling you to do this, but I'm telling you the information of what we have found, in fact, has been done and what has happened. Let's first start with face wrinkles. If you use fresh, warm urine at night prior to retiring, all have found that facial skin to tighten and many wrinkles to fade or disappear in the first 24 hours. If face therapy continues for 3 to 4 weeks, age of a person may look between 10 and 15 years more youthful. No plastic surgery necessary, no creams, no facials, no mud packs, no special soaps or expensive peels needed. Just a simple washing of the face at night and no patting dry. Let it completely dry on your face. The next morning, get up, go to the shower, shower off, use no shampoo, no soap. And this has been found with many of the models throughout the world. Many of the models and movie stars will not tell you what they use on their faces, but in fact, that is what they do. They use urine therapy, many of them. We have videotapes from all over the world. Many of the models have come out in front of cameras on TV and have told us that. Next, moles. At the same time as face wrinkles, those who have placed urine on their face at night while sleeping, and now who have actually taken gauze or cotton and made compresses and put them on their moles and had it wet on top of the mole as many hours as possible during the night and during the day if you're not working. Those who have placed a compress of gauze with fresh warm therapy will find the smallest to the largest of moles to dissolve and fall off the face or any other part of the body, no matter if you've had the mole for 20, 30 years. Acne. Washing of the face at night with therapy or in the morning, and again, do not use soap, do not use shampoo, will normally minimize the redness, minimize the pimples or boils, or completely dissolve them. They will have a soft, fine facial feature. Most see improvement in an overnight use. Critical problems start immediately and run for 3 to 4 weeks every night, and thereafter then only use once or twice each week. Radiance of complexion. Night washing with therapy 2 or 3 times per week. Many who truly radiate, as myself, use therapy each night. I have many people who question my age. When I tell them I am going on 60, they respond that, gosh, you look normally, I would guess at 40, 45, anywhere between there. But they cannot believe that I'm 60 years old. Many of my friends ask what I am doing because not only do I look younger, but my complexion and ambiance of skin radiates. There's a total radiation scene. There's a glow. They actually say that I have a glow to my complexion. Next, brown spots, liver spots, blemishes, or birthmarks. Again, the soaking of cotton or gauze in this therapy and wrapping is very effective. Overnight on affected areas for 3 to 6 weeks shows best results. Deep, long life spots, such as birthmarks, may take up to 3 months. Next, dark complexion, or for those who want to lighten skin tone. It has been shown that washing alone with the therapy may easily start the lightening process of melanin in the skin. Many people have always wondered how Afro-American stars in the movies lighten their skin. This may be one of those ways naturally that they have been doing it without bleaching or drugs. A very natural way, a very natural method. Next, earaches, itchiness, wax buildups, ringing in the ears, hearing problems, or infection. If you have any of these, take 2 or 3 drops whenever necessary and place it in your ear. Usually pain will go away within a few minutes to an hour. Itchiness almost immediately will be alleviated. Wax buildup depending upon how long accumulation has taken. Ringing, hearing, dependent if wax is alleviated and drum is not broken or infected. If you have tired eyes, itchiness of eyes, myopia, cataracts, glaucoma. This therapy of drinking and putting drops in your eyes 2 or 3 times a day is very effective. Use upon awakening, after work, or in the middle of the day, and then again the 3rd time before you go to bed. Place 2 or 3 drops in each eye. Rest for 5 minutes. Tired eyes, itchiness, gone normally within 5 minutes. Cataracts, glaucoma, 2 times daily minimum to 3 times daily for 5 minutes for at least 6 to 8 months. This has shown dissolvement where sight has been bettered or many times complete restoration depending upon how constantly you are soaking your eyes. But don't miss it. 2 to 3 times each day for as many months as you can remember and keep on going, and your problems will dissolve. Conjunctivitis, pink eye. Again, put drops in your eyes. Hair loss, complete hair loss. Many have collected their therapy in bottles, closed bottles, so it does not have oxidation hit the urine. You see, when the oxygen in the air hits the urine, for the first 10-15 minutes, it is pure. It is absolutely sterile. However, once the oxidation hits, it starts breaking down. It starts fermenting. Bacteria get into it. And before you know it, it is tainted. It's full of bacteria. And then the fermentation starts. And that's when you have the smell become very, very, very strong. But as it is, collect the therapy for 3 days and put it in a closed bottle. It will oxidize and won't smell very good every time you open it. Spread the liquid on the hair. Massage it into the scalp. Sleep overnight with a shower cap on. Usually you will sleep 6 to 8 hours, and that is good each night. In the morning, it will smell of a little ammonia. Wash in the shower as usual in the morning. God willing, the better percent of people diligently doing this on a daily basis will, in fact, start growing hair if the follicles are not dead. This has been shown by men after being bald for up to 20 years. Headache or migraines. Drink therapy as suggested before. Early morning minimum and up to 3 times per day. Hoarseness. Gargle with your therapy. Nasal congestion. Use fresh therapy using a pipette from a drugstore or somehow place 2 or 3 drops in each nostril. This will sting a little because there's a lot of different salts, up to 12 different salts in your urine depending upon what you have eaten. If you can't tolerate the stinging, you can add chamomile tea or distilled water mix, a few drops of each. Next, nasal drip or allergies. Again, use drops until symptoms are gone. Toothache, periodontal infection, or diseased gums. Rinsing and swishing by pushing and pulling the liquid between the teeth are very effective. Do this morning and night, minimum for about 4 to 5 minutes each time. I cannot impress upon you, however, you know you're not supposed to have silver fillings in your mouth. They are very dangerous to the very livelihood of your body. They're very toxic. They're metals. And the problem is that in a silver filling, it's amalgam. What is amalgam? 50% mercury. If you go to your doctor, your dentist, and ask him to take out that silver filling, he will be very, very hard set to do that, because once he pulls that out, he cannot just throw that in the garbage, or is not supposed to. He has to actually put that old filling in a biohazardous container and call a special processing laboratory to take it out of his office. It's very dangerous. Just the toxic fumes, once you eat and it rubs against the silver fillings, are bad. Now, I'm telling you this because if you gargle with urine therapy, you will find that while you are doing this, within days, those teeth that have silver filling in it many times become loose. It seems as though the body understands, and with the urine, for whatever reason, it creates something that tells the body that this should not be within your body, and those teeth will become loose. So I would highly suggest that you go to a dentist and have them taken out. Otherwise, without question, in the future, you will have difficult, serious diseases. Dandruff, Candida albicans. Apply to the scalp before going to bed again. Use your urine that you have either stored in a topped bottle or any of your brand new urine, which is still warm, right out of your next void. Massage this into the scalp, same as said for bald persons. Put a shower cap on at night, and then in the morning, shower in the morning, not using soap or shampoo. Sinus problems. Put drops in your nasal passage of fresh, warm therapy. It will sting again a little bit. Remember, it's not bad. Do this up to 6 weeks depending upon severity. Normally, your sinuses will totally open if you do it properly, which means consistently, each day, without loss of jumping days, and you will find your sinuses will be 90% better. Next, thrush, Candida albicans. You should gargle daily, morning and night. Apply to affected areas. Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy is a very, very sad problem that somehow, some way, there is a freezing, a paralysis of half of your face. In this particular method, you should ask for allopathic help because you need to have injections of urine under the skin, followed by massaging the skin with your urine. Ask your allopathic doctors to either show you how to do it, or you will have to go to their office to have this done. Asthma. Use basic therapy of morning drinking 2 or 3 times per week for approximately a week, and you will find your asthma to be alleviated, a great percentage. External, on bronchitis and deep cough. Use compresses and use a basic drinking therapy. Emphysema, a very critical disease. You must use basic drinking therapy plus rub-downs. It is very, very easy to overcome emphysema if you consistently do drinking. You must heal those particular cells. Heart attack prevention. Use the drinking method, basic drinking, in the reuse of urokinase that your body creates. It is extremely beneficial. Arthritis. Use cold compresses of the therapy for about a half hour, including basic drinking therapy with a couple sips 3 to 4 times a day. But you must put yourself into a position that you will daily not forget compresses on the affected parts of your body. Even if you have arthritis that is very crippling, rheumatoid arthritis, with these cold compresses and the drinking, you will find that your knuckles, your nodules, and your paralysis, in fact, will go away. Your hand will start straightening up. I have seen it. I didn't believe it when I heard it, but I've seen it. Definitely. I've seen it in person. Chapped, rough, or dishwater hands. Wash your hands using the therapy to have the smoothest hands. After 2 or 3 days, you will find that without expensive creams or soaps, disinfectants, you will find your cracks, bruises, and cuts will disappear, and your hands will be very, very soft. Fingernails. Soaking your fingernails in urine therapy 10 minutes morning and night for 3 weeks will give you unbreakable, fungus-free nails. Warts. Ever had them expensively and painfully frozen and removed when in a few months they reappeared? Well, try fresh therapy on the wart with a compress at night, and in a week you should see it being dissolved, gone forever. Abdominal pain. Basic urine therapy early in the morning when you first void, and you will find that abdominal pains will normally go away. If you have constipation, your constipation will be helped. You will find that voiding, if you eat 3 times a day, you will void 3 times a day, and you will not be constipated. Flatulence. Basic morning and night time drinking works very well. Now, constipation, as we had just talked, this is basic morning drinking therapy, and use it twice more during the day. You will find that you will not be constipated. You will find if you have used this for a week, the constipation will be so far completely different that when you have the feeling of going, you'll be able to sit down in 30 seconds. Everything will be out of you so easily, and it'll be such a pleasure, such a great feeling to be able to just sit down 2-3 times a day with no problems whatsoever. No pressure, no pain. Diarrhea. Fasting and therapy negates the poisons within your system, intestines, and colon. If you have diarrhea in the first place, that's because toxins are stored in your system. Once you start on a fasting program with therapy, you will find that even if you don't have diarrhea now, in about the 3rd day, you will have a diarrhea, and all the toxins will come out of you completely. If you have diarrhea now and you start on the therapy, you will find that your diarrhea your body has been trying desperately to eliminate all those toxins. But for sure, with all of the urea and the salts and all of the internal structure of the urine, it will be washing out. It'll be detoxifying your entire colon, your entire intestine, and in the 2nd to the 3rd day, you will have a diarrhea, and after that, you will have diarrhea no more. The body is releasing total of the toxins within your system, and your parasites are dying. If you look in the bowl, you will find sometimes parasites that are actually still moving in the bowl. And we are talking those parasites were actually living in your system. That's why you had diarrhea in the first place. Again, you had diarrhea because your body was trying to dislodge them, trying to get them out. If the parasites that you see in the toilet are moving, you can see some of them are just not worm-like. We're talking about they're like spider-like. They have little attachments on them. They had attached themselves to your intestine. This is what urine can do for you. It will totally detoxify your system, your intestines and your colon. And that's why, remember, it's extremely important to detoxify your intestine and colon, because it's been said by most people that cancer starts in the colon. Next, hemorrhoids. Use a compress of cotton or gauze and place it on the anal region as tightly in as possible so that the fluids flow into and around the hemorrhoid. Crohn's disease. Use basic therapy, especially mornings, for the inflammation to retreat. Next, kidney infection or kidney stones. If you have pains and you believe you may have kidney stones, and it's just the start of your kidney problems, use basic therapy immediately, plus as much or as possible to drink during the entire day. Don't only drink the first void in the morning. Drink as much as you can all day long to each individual void. Enlarged prostate. Drinking therapy constantly all day with pumpkin seed consumption and saw palmetto liquid herbal will in fact help your prostate very much. And you will find that I have had testimonials of people that have started to urinate and started to see pus coming out of their urination void. And they knew they were in problems. When they started immediately on the therapy, within 2 to 3 days, everything was cleared up. And their normal void, they didn't have to get up in the morning as much. Within 2 to 3 weeks, everything seemed to be classified as normal. Many of the people that have gone to allopathic doctors that have been told that they needed an operation to have their prostate removed have gone immediately onto urine therapy for 2 months, constantly. Originally, they went on to 2 to 3 weeks of fasting with 100% urine and distilled water, and they no longer had to have the operation. When they had their PSA taken after the next 3 to 4 weeks, they have found their PSA dropped into the normal levels. Vaginal infection, itching or running. Just use simple irrigation with the therapy. Use your own urine to place it back into your vagina. Douche, and you will find that you will not have your vaginal infections or your itching or running anymore. Do this about 3 times a week until it's negated. Athlete's foot or Candida albicans. Soak fresh or up to 3 days old for 15 minutes each time, and give a massage for an additional 15 minutes on your foot. Next, circulation. Massage affected parts and drink as much urine as possible daily. Now, the circulation, for instance, would be in diabetic people. They may have problems in their legs, in their feet, in their toes, in their fingers, in their hands. That's the parts that you must massage, along with drinking as much urine as possible daily. Frostbite. If you ever get yourself into a position of having frostbite, make compresses immediately of your warm urine and massage it into the affected areas. Okay, we're running out of tape right now. Please forward the tape to the end and flip over to the other side, and let's complete our testimonials on the other side. Hello, welcome back to Tape 3, Part 3, second side of autoimmune therapy, urine therapy. And again, on this side, we will continue with testimonial usage of urine therapy. Let's now go to cuts or open sores. Very valuable part of life, especially if you have children. If they have scrapes, cuts, bruises, anything of that nature, apply a compress to the cuts and keep wet for 24 hours constant. At this time, I would like to tell you two stories that is personally involving myself and my family. I must give you this story because it just happened this past July 2001. I saw my own mother, who is with past 3 strokes and is in a hemiplegic position now and not having any great sensation in her affected hand. I call this a miracle, and I must add just one more absolutely true belief to this therapy. She wears rings on her fingers. On her paralyzed hand, her pointing finger, she wore a large oval amber stone ring. This day was a day, for whatever reason, her body became very enhanced with fluids. This edema made the ring metal cut into her skin, and then, when she was trying to take it off because it was tightening on her, it cut into her meat all the way down to the bone. There was no possible way that this ring had any chance to come off. She tried, pulled and twisted and jerked, and finally called me from my computer to point out that she was in trouble. Lord have mercy, trouble was not the word. She had pulled her ring off enough that the metal cut through the skin and to the meat to the bone. Immediately I looked for wire cutters to clip it off. I didn't have those clippers, so I called immediately to my friend next door who's in the construction business. He and his wife and father came over to see what the problem was. His father got very nervous and said, "Gosh, you should call 911 now." And the wife said, "At least take her to the hospital." I declined being on the therapy full-time, and for whatever reason, nothing makes me nervous now. It makes me in full control of even the cruelest of situations, and believe me, this is one of the cruelest of situations. The way this thing looked, she was going to lose that finger. We immediately took the clips and snipped off the ring. I soaked the hand in hydrogen peroxide for 15 minutes, after which another 15 minutes in urine therapy. This was at 7 p.m. on a Sunday. Before bed and during the night, I changed the gauze strip soaks every 2 to 3 hours. I had my alarm wake me up. By 12 o'clock noon on Monday, I checked the finger for infection or any other problems and found that the meat had joined, the skin had joined, there was a mark of where the tear was, but it seemed as though it was healing fine. No problems whatsoever, no infection. I kept on doing that on a basis of keeping the gauze wet, and 5 days later, after constant therapy, soaked gauze strips being well wrapped, the meat, skin had no possible vision of a cut. Her hand is as good as new, as good as it had never had a problem, never been cut, and totally without infection. If allopathic help would have been looked at the time of Sunday night, consider the ungodly costs. I think of what this knowledge will be for those of us who may face chemical warfare, viral warfare, or any of the super problems that we may have of tainted food and water, terrorism, 2001, Twin Towers, and all that stuff. Let me say that this is one problem that we have, and I did not know about this therapy prior to her strokes, and the hospital doctors told me to consider her not possible to survive, and that I should leave her in the hospital, and consider signing to pull the plug. Here is where I would like to tell you of the second testimonial, that at the time of her second stroke, I was present with the paramedics that they called. After 40 minutes of the paramedics working on her and me praying, they called her a flatline. They started writing the time of passing, and I remembered my teacher and mentor, Dr. Schultz, M.H., from Los Angeles, California. He studied under Dr. John Christopher of Utah and Dr. Bernard Jensen of Escondido, California, herbologists. I had studied under Dr. David Christopher's School of Herbology, where Dr. Schultz was called Dr. Cayenne, for he never believed so firmly and in the use of powdered and liquid cayenne. Normal cayenne, if bought in a grocery store, is 40,000 heat units. In a nutritional store, you can buy it at approximately 75 to 100,000 heat units. Dr. Schultz makes a product of liquid cayenne at 275,000 heat units. Now let me tell you, 40,000 heat units, one drop or just a little sprinkle of pepper on your tongue will send you into tears. 275 is a whole new planet. Well, that's only one drop. Well, the miracle of it all is I had in hand a bottle of Dr. Schultz's 275,000 cayenne liquid. And after there was no heartbeat, respiration, eyes were up in my mother's head, and the paramedics telling me that it was a no-go, I immediately shot a full pipette of liquid cayenne in her mouth as I was taught and told how. That was approximately 30 drops of 275,000 heat units of liquid cayenne. Again, usually one drop will open your eyes and sinuses for at least an hour and a half of enlightening experience. Well, my friends, 3 to 5 seconds, only 3 to 5 seconds later after introducing that full 30 drops, she jumped and bounced off the floor where they were working on her, and it was like electric paddles were placed on her. She coughed, gasped for breath, and the paramedics looked at each other and then started their procedures again and finally felt it was possible to move her to the hospital. My friends, I can say that she is mentally sound, immobile, but still in laughter and comedy with her special television programs, still sharp enough to enjoy a good game of blackjack in Vegas 3.5 years later. Next, sprains. For sprains, massage for 15 minutes to a half hour with therapy, and then drink therapy 3 times daily. Varicose veins. Drink therapy as much as possible daily and massage and wrap legs at night. Bed sores. Wrap patient in soaked therapy. Baby rash. Baby rash does not come from urine of a baby, as most like you to believe. It comes from the mother eating foods that the child cannot tolerate. Hold off and be careful of the mother's food intake. Use the therapy on the child by wiping it on the rash, and switch to cotton diapers. If you give the baby formulated milk, you will have a definite problem of rashes. You must, in fact, externally wipe urine back onto the baby. Keep padded urine on the baby, but urine that has not had bad food, urine that has not had formulated. That's the own baby's urine. So stay off of formulated products for the baby. If you can possibly breastfeed the child, do it. But remember, whatever the mother intakes into the system will come out in that breast milk. Next, herpes. Therapy soaked on areas affected. You should put massagings and compresses wherever herpes is affected on the body, and you will find that herpes will go away. Insect bites. Washing and applying of therapy to the affected areas. Itching. Washing with therapy to the affected areas such as poison ivy or any plant or animal irritation. It works on jellyfish stings. If you ever involve yourself with a jellyfish sting, immediately put urine application compresses of the therapy-soaked gauze. If you get involved in a desert with snakes or scorpion bites, use urine compresses on the affected area. Kaposi sarcoma. You must wash and massage with compresses over the lesion at night. Psoriasis. Basic drinking daily with swabbing and compresses all over affected area is best. Scars. As stated when I was talking of my mother, by placing the therapy 24 hours per day and keeping wet gauze saturated on the new cut, especially on the face, your scars will never appear. They will disappear. The cut, incision, abrasion will become invisible in days. Here's a story where doctors don't tell you this, but nowadays with laser, many of our medical physicians can operate within an embryo, within the mother, and when they make the incision with the laser, and the operation is complete, When the child is born, if it's more than 30 days, you will find the child's incision has disappeared. With being within the embryonic fluid, which is part urea, you will find not even a scar, not even a blemish. It webs itself together and it totally vanishes. Shingles. Fresh, wet gauze on affected area as soon as you know of this problem will help shingles, and shingles is an extremely painful problem. Sunburn. Wash over the affected areas, which will reduce the burn and relieve the pain. Believe me, I wish I would have known this 35 years ago. When I got married 35 years ago, we flew over to Santa Catalina Island. For whatever reason, we were on a schooner, and I fell asleep in the sand when I first got there. I slept for a half hour, and I'm very, very light complected. I burned badly, and they didn't have at the local store any sun product except for oils. If I would have known, that's all I would have had to do is put urine on my problem, and in an hour, hour and a half, all of that pain, all of that redness would have been gone. Arteriosclerosis. You drink the therapy and give daily massages application to extremities. Blood pressure. Basic drinking daily will take your blood pressure down into the normal ranges. Candidus, yeast infection. You use drinking all during the day for 1 week. Diabetes. The Japanese researchers are convinced that the therapy in the body will remind the pancreas to release more insulin and free capsulated cells. I have many, many testimonials within this book, if you have bought the book, that will show you where people have been on diabetes problems for years, where people were close to having their legs or toes or parts of their body cut off. They went on to 3 to 4 weeks of fasting along with 100% of urine therapy, and they not only didn't have to have any of the operations, they were 100% back into normal range as when they did not have diabetes. Dog bite. Rinse immediately with therapy and use compress over bite. Edema. Massage with therapy. Fever. Wrap head and legs immediately. Boils. Use a wet compress of urine therapy over the boils. Menopause or hot flashes. Drinking of urine releases needed hormones from that person's own body, otherwise lost in the body without taking horse urine, which is Premarin, or other drugs. Why take horse urine? Why get yourself involved? It's been proven that a lengthy stay of Premarin, of horse urine, which they have 439 farms throughout Canada and the United States, anything over a few years, 10 years, 15 years, you will in fact have a great possibility of having cancer. So don't put that into your body. Put your own human hormones, your own dedicated hormones back into your body, not horse's urine or other drugs. Those people who are reading this or hearing this tape believe that I'm a crazy for even saying things of this nature, that you should drink your own urine. And yet, thousands, millions of women do not even know that they are taking hormones from horse urine. Next, immune deficiency. Basic urine drinking will up your immune system deficiency. Parasites. Drinking the therapy kills the parasites with the system. Influenza. Drinking builds up the immune system. So with an immune system buildup, flus, viruses, bacteria will not will not live within the body. You will cleanse your body. We will detox. Leukopenia. which is low white count. This you should consult a physician. However, the therapy increases the immune system. Obesity. Drinking, of course, especially with fasting, but drinking will reduce the need of hunger. Wrapping yourself in a blanket soaked in therapy for a couple hours will reduce inches in your body mass. Osteoporosis. Fasting with drinking therapy for 6 weeks. That is what's considered best. And you will find that your osteoporosis will not be so dramatic. Paralysis. Massage on affected areas 2 to 3 times each day for 6 months to a year. Rheumatism. Change in diet with no meat, alcohol, white flour products, or white sugar products. Daily massages and weekly baths, and the therapy included. That's what you should give yourself. Daily massages and weekly baths with this therapy. Scarlet fever. Gargling and drinking the therapy is best. Ulcers. Drinking basic therapy daily. Whooping cough. Basic drinking and gargling along with massaging therapy mixed with menthol oil. Anxiety. Trying to become tranquil. Drinking this therapy daily will give you a sense of calmness. I cannot explain how my life has changed to what extent from a AAA person I was to a calm, happy person that I have now become. I never thought I could have reached this level in my life. Fear and fear suppression. Drinking daily will give you a caring without fearing attitude. Trust it. Sleep. From daily drinking you will be relaxed without losing any sleep. After a few days into this therapy, you should be capable to mellow and dream as once before in your early youth. Heart problems. Basic daily drinking adds urokinase, which takes care of palpitations and many heart problems. Gangrene. This is the most diligent form of therapy necessary. To start, you must drink every day all possible therapy, and then soak the affected areas for a half hour twice per day, minimum. Fasting up to 40 days depending upon how far the gangrene has set in. Burns. Wash and keep area moist, totally moist with this therapy. Think of as if you were in your mother's womb. You were floating in this. Keep it as wet as possible. Blisters. Compress of therapy as much as possible with drinking. Proceed until blister is dissolved. Ringworm. Massage into area along with drinking until gone. Leprosy. Drinking and massaging into affected areas. And you may question, why is he talking leprosy? Well, believe me, leprosy still exists in some parts of the world. Menstrual irregularity. Fast for 3 or 4 day periods each month, then drink first morning void for the rest of the month. Pneumonia. Fast approximately 7 to 10 days with constant 100% voiding, drink. Orchitis. The unavailability, possibility to urinate. Therapy fasting must be from another person's therapy, and that therapy must be of the same sex. Overdose of drugs. You must drink as much as possible of the therapy from another person of the same sex. Syphilis. Drinking at least 3 times a day and putting a pad of soaked therapy on the affected area is best. Cancer. Full thrust fasting and daily drinking of all therapy. Daily therapy massages for as many hours as possible. Stroke. Fasting, massage, and soaking for as many hours as possible. It is now that we will talk on different usages, not for different diseases. Urine therapy must be considered that throughout the world and throughout the ages they have had different usages. It can be used as soap. For instance, in England, France, and many other areas, they actually use it as a washing liquid. This washing liquid is used in culinary cleaning. Russia, China, India, etc., thousands of years ago till the present time. In actuality, in certain areas, not many of the towns where we have had television and have taught us how to use soaps and detergents and liquid detergents, but they use urine, because it's so sterile, to wash their culinary knives, forks, spoons, plates, pans. In certain areas of the world, like the Mideast, where it's a desert area and the nomads still exist, there is no water to utilize for this washing, so they use camel urine, or like in China, they use ox urine, or like in India, they use cow urine. It also may be used as water in the desert by the nomads up to the present time, which I had just talked to you about. This drinking of the therapy is of use to survive in those areas. As a tooth wash, it was used by dentists in past times. The therapy with orris powder was used as tooth powder. Many people were saved during the plague in France. The therapy was used by drinking, and those people who did drink the therapy at that time during the plague lived. Cosmetic preparation by manufacturers. Ureic ingredients is used by many high-cost cosmetics. Drug companies use many pharmaceuticals with therapy. Unknown ingredients in drugs are used unknowingly. You may use it on your plants and flowers. The use of therapy mixed with water, you will find your plants and flowers and fruit trees giving you a new green thumb. I have seen avocados the size of large, huge grapefruits. You just mix urine 50% with water and give it to your plants. Wash it on their leaves as well as giving it into the watering ground. Next, show horses are bathed in urine therapy. This gives a very high sheen to the animal's hair or fur. Dogs are bathed in this therapy also during shows. The reason is that the cat or dog, if you ever noticed, cleans themselves off. This is their own vaccinating system. When a dog licks himself, he not only licks himself just to wash himself, but you will notice that he in actuality, or the dog, he or she in actuality, releases some of the urine as they lick themselves and clean themselves. This also gives you a change to a higher self. The drinking of this therapy will change your psyche. You will find that you have become a different person. It's unexplainable but true. I have changed. I have been there. You just feel well. You just feel just like a different person. Here's a small list to consider, and this list to consider is, as I have gone through these 100 and some different ways that you can use urine therapy, you might think to yourself of, what is he talking about? Exactly why? Why would this urine be so dramatic in helping us? Well, here's only a small list to consider of the ingredients within urine. Adrenaline, alanine, alpha amylase, albumin, alpha amylase, arabinose, arginine, ascorbic acid, aldosterone, allantoin, amino acids, beta and acetylglycine, bicarbonate, bilirubin, biotin, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, vitamin C, calcium, carnosine, carnitine, chloride, copper, corticosteroids, corticosterone, corticotropin, cortisone, creatinine, cysteine, DHEA, dopamine, epinephrine, estrogen, folic acid, fructose, fructoglucose, gamma-glutatransferase, inositol, IgA, IgM, IgG, iodine, iron, gonadotropin, glycine, glutamic acid, histidine, lactogenia, hormones, lactose, leucine, lysine, lysozyme, magnesium, manganese, melatonin, methionine, nicotinic acid, nitrogen, ornithine, oxytocin, thyroxine, pantothenic acid, phosphorus, potassium, prolactin, protease, proteins, riboflavin, which is B2, ribonase, saccharose, serine, sulfur, selenium, testosterone, thiamine, which is B1, transferrin, tryptophan, tryptophan, urea, urokinase, vasopressin, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, zinc, and many others that each human make up, which is personal. If you have been told that by taking those vitamins, minerals, alternative care products, that you have the most expensive urine, those people telling you that may have been right. Now, however, if you become a urine therapy practitioner, you will reuse and get every dollar's worth. It won't go down the toilet, and you will get 100% of every milligram taken and never get sick, from colds to incurable diseases. I know I could have saved you the cost of this information right from the get-go, and I hope that you will take it in consideration and you will save the cost. This should change your entire life. News reports have been told of individuals who have both lived and died by being trapped in places without food and water for days. Those that survived have survived because they drank their own urine, and those that perished did not. Those that died could not overcome society's educational thoughts that urine is a waste product of the body. It's dirty, it's unclean, it smells and has ammonia that would be toxic to the system. That information is not correct. It's only a substance the body releases that contains wholesome, clean, sterile elements not needed at the time of release. Despite what you have been led to believe about urine, pharmaceutical companies have grossed billions of dollars from the sale of drugs made from urine constituents as eye remedies, cosmetics, and heart regulators. Research is ongoing in laboratories worldwide attempting to isolate specific elements of urine so they can create new drugs and patent those substances. Here's an example. Pergonal is a fertility drug made from human urine. In early 1990s, yearly sales of this drug are reported to be grossing each drug company $855 million. It cost a patient $1,400 a month to consume urokinase, a urine ingredient collected free to those who collect urine through 10,000 U.S. porta-johns. Then it is used in drug form and sold as a miracle blood clot dissolver for unblocking coronary arteries. Premarin, sold to women mostly for hormone therapy, is 100% pregnant mare's urine. See write-up on Premarin farms in this research. There are hundreds of horse farms in Canada and the USA that raise pregnant mares for their urine, and when the foal is born, they are auctioned and normally sold for meat, which is very tender, to Japan for human consumption. Real big bucks. Research on Premarin is given free in separate form for educational reasons only, not part of the sale of this book. Urea, medically proven to be one of the best moisturizers in the world, is packaged in expensive creams and lotion. Delete the M in murine drops, and bingo, you have urine. Urine. It's made of carbamide, another name for synthetic urea. Okay, we've come to the end of this tape. Fast forward to the end and go on to tape 4, and thank you very much for listening.